Oh shit, Darius gonna make a video on me. Oh, I'm gonna get exposed. Shit, I better delete my channel right now. Whoa!
Jose.
You know what? Get the
I'll just save it for a video.
Get the
okay,
fuck out.
Never mind.
Bye. Nice knowing you, bitch. I just banned him.
I really shouldn't be like. Okay. Whoa. Oh, okay.
He's gonna expose me. Oh no. Whatever will I do?
Someone wrote and said, "Okay, Darius, I'm sure your 9 subscribers will."
Dylan, my boy.
I'm sure your 9 subscribers will.
The day has finally come. I finally get to roast Spechie! I've been planning for this for months, but school and such has gotten in the way, so here I am in early December, finally getting around to it. Oh, I'm so excited. In this video, we're going to be explaining why this person's actions had led me to believe that she is an absolute dullard. Oh, but Darius, that's just your opinion. No. Like any good rant, I'll be citing evidence. Here we go. Video number 1, college.
Best person to talk about this topic, since I'm not even out of high school yet, but I figured I'd put in my 2 cents because I have a lot to say. College is not inherently bad. In fact, I think it's a good thing. Expand your learning, meet new people, and be eligible for a better job. But there are a lot of downsides.
Okay.
For one, everyone is always telling teens that they have to go to college to be successful. If they don't go, they'll work in a McDonald's for the rest of their lives.
That's not a downside of college. Someone saying that going to college is bad has nothing to do with the actual college itself. You started out with a fine thesis, but then proceeded to give the worst point of your entire
It's possible,
argument.
it's not true. There are plenty of ways to be successful without college, and schools don't tell you about those options. At my school, we have a college prep lady, I guess. We call her Miss Roach. It's a pretty funny story of how she got that name. One day she was blabbing at me and my friends about going to college and how we had to go to be successful. And when she walked away, I turned to my friend and just whispered, "Roach." She doesn't shut up about how she needs all the seniors to apply to college so the school can say all the seniors have been accepted. Bragging rights, basically.
Bragging rights? Really? Tell me, Spechie, if they really send all the kids to college for that reason, to whom would they brag to? I'm pretty sure they do that so that, high school students can go out and get an education after high school so they can get a decent paying job to sustain them for a good portion of their adulthood, but what do I know? I'm just a mere peasant compared to you and your never-ending wisdom.
They also want all of us to complete the FAFSA, so the school has bragging rights about that.
Really? The free application for federal student aid is bragging rights? The application where you can get free money from the government for college is for bragging rights? Are you kidding me?
My friend is planning on taking a gap year, and when she told Miss Roach, she didn't take it well. Miss Roach told her parents they didn't know how to parent, and that they were making a huge mistake, even though it's not Miss Roach's place to dictate what the girl does with her life. I'm still holding on to the illusion that I'll be going to college, but I've really been thinking about it, and college just isn't for me. I'm not the stereotypically smart kid. The only college option I would seriously consider is art college, but I don't need a slip of paper that tells me I can draw. Another downside is the price. It's insane that 18-year-olds fresh out of their mom's womb are $100K in debt. All because they can't get a good job without a slip of paper. My question is, where is all the money going? Why do they need $100K per student? Because that's a lot of money. With about 20.5 million college students each paying $1K, we should theoretically have enough money to get the US out of debt. But it's all going to buying the staff seasonal yachts.
Great job, Spechie. Okay, calm down, we get it. Great job, Spechie. You won Idiot of the Year award. Since when, in the history of mankind, have colleges spent money on yachts? Yachts? Are you this stupid? Like, I'm shook right now. I didn't know people could be this stupid. I've seen stupid people in my life. But you are something else. Like, can we get another applause? Because this video is starting to get a bit long, I'm just going to give you the graph so you can read for yourself. Well, you can read, right? I don't know. I'm not sure at this point. I'll even link it in the description if you want it that bad.
Honestly, they don't need that much money. Colleges squeeze every penny out of students, all for a slip of paper saying they can do a certain job better than someone else so they can sit in an office for the rest of their lives and wither away.
Yes, because I'm sure all of the petroleum engineers, rocket scientists, neurosurgeons, pharmaceutical representatives, and so on all just sit in an office and wither away.
Now, don't let me scare those youngins who are still trying to figure out what they want to do.
Please, the only people you're scaring have an IQ over 80.
Don't listen to me. I'm a dumbass who will probably regret not going to college.
No, you're just a dumbass.
But it's my life and my choices, and if I mess it up, I mess it up. College is a good place to go if you have money and time.
You want to figure out who you are and have fun doing it. But for the kid out there who's like me, being told if they don't go, they won't be successful, you just feel like it wouldn't work out. You don't have to go. No one is in charge of you but you. Your parents might tell you otherwise, but at the end of the day, you have the ultimate say. Okay, so the deal with art college, right? I don't think it's necessarily bad either, but just being self-taught, I just don't see the point in wasting 100K to be taught things I could learn online myself. If you feel you could learn better learning from professionals, go for it. To be honest with you, I don't think I could deal with being around the snooty art people all day. I know how we get. What do you mean the color scheme is off? I'm telling you, there's too much purple. You wouldn't know purple if it hit you in the face, Trisha. On top of that, me being as stupidly competitive as I am, I wouldn't deal well with being around people who are 200% better than me. It would either motivate me to get better, or I'd give up and move into a box on the street. So what it comes down to is if you feel college is not right for you, don't let anyone tell you you have to go. Granted, don't put all your eggs in one basket like
I am. But if you have other career choices in mind, you can definitely choose those and go to college later.
Well, that concludes that video. Thank God. You literally just told them to not put all their eggs in one basket like you did, so you're telling them not to do something that you're doing, which I don't think is the best thing to do, but hey, you're Spechie, so... yeah, not a great video. So, moving on to the next part. The next video I'm going to be doing is one of my personal favorites, Fake People by Spechie. Let's slither right into this video.
Everyone's a little fake. Okay, that's a strange way to start a video, but let me explain. You see, we all have different personas for different situations. For example, when you're out with your friends, you could be the quiet type, maybe the loud and rambunctious type. For me, I'm the loud and outgoing one when I'm around my friends that I'm comfortable with, always making these off-topic comments about someone's shoes and how they look like McDonald's french fries strapped to their feet. I'm pretty talkative around my friends that I like being around.
So, you're saying you're talkative around the friends you like being around, but if you're hanging around with someone you don't like being around and calling them your friend, wouldn't that make you fake?
It's pretty hard to get me to shut up. Whereas in a school setting, I'm the quiet and distant one who's very difficult to talk to and has the stay away from me or I'll shove a textbook down your throat vibe going on. Of course, under that hard, angry-faced exterior, I'm just a big old softie who wants to make some real friends and have fun. But they don't need to know that. Another example could be family. Depending on your family setting, you could be a happy-go-lucky sibling always daring their younger siblings to do stupid things like jump a fence into the neighbor's yard that has a rabid dog in it or chase a ball into the street. Or you're the quiet sibling who doesn't talk very much to their parents, but talks a lot to their sister or brother. You could be all of these people, the loud friend, the quiet student, the happy-go-lucky sibling. You're all still one person. It doesn't really make you fake. Everyone's a little fake. A little fake. And the quiet student, the happy-go-lucky sibling. You're all still one person. It doesn't really make you fake. We all adapt differently to different situations and handle things in our own way. It's kind of like being built up of several mini people, like 3 kids stacked on top of each other in a trench coat trying to get into an R-rated movie. What?
This is slightly contradictory to what you said earlier because your previous example with the 3 children trying to get into an R-rated movie implies 3 different personalities trying to achieve one goal, whereas your earlier examples were different personalities in different situations.
However, there are people out there who change into someone else entirely in these situations. Not like I described before, an extension of personality. They create a new personality for these situations.
This is exactly what you just described before. Take the example of you at school. At school, you act like the don't talk to me or I'll shove a textbook down your throat kind of girl, but deep down inside, you're just a softie who wants to make real friends, right? Well, that would mean that the person who acts like the person who shoved a textbook down your throat isn't really you, right? So then by that logic, it's not an extension of your personality. It's a new personality created just for school. Okay, I get that that's not slithering into a group like you later explain, but going based off of your mini people example, that's 3 mini people or personalities combining to get into something that they don't belong to, aka an R-rated movie. So wouldn't that mean that they've just created a new personality to slither into something that doesn't belong for them? You're contradicting your own self here. If you're going to try to make a deep metaphorical video, which I'll later debunk further in the video, at least be consistent.
These people I've labeled snakes. Kind of mean. Yeah, well, hear me out here. These people shed their skin every chance they get and adapt to fill a new one in the situation they're in. Not naturally. They force the skin off to make sure they can slither into a new group and fit in right instead of being themselves. You deal with a lot of snakes, in high school especially. I've had a fair chunk even at the podunk little school I went to with a graduating class of 21. Strangely enough, it's mostly girls that I've met that have a habit of doing this. They shed their skin to fit in with one group, then go behind that group's back and talk bad about them. It's an interesting conundrum. I'm assuming that these girls are fueled by jealousy and nothing more. Something petty and childish we've all dealt with at one point in our lives, either in high school or adulthood. Snakes can also be grown or born, I guess through other ways. Sometimes they feel like they have to become a new person to get success, so they shed their skin and form a new one around what they believe is correct. Bring some light to the young viewer's eyes. Sometimes these snakes are rewarded with the success. Sometimes they get what they want. But they will never be happy, because their new skin will not fit. The skin won't fit their bodies because it wasn't created for their bodies. It was created so they could fit into whatever society or group they're trying to fit into.
There's a huge problem with your metaphor. You're forcing it. I understand comparing humans to some sort of creature in nature, but if you're going to do this approach, do it right. Snakes don't shed their skin to fit into a new group. They shed it so that they can grow and have new skin to fit in, which is comparable to growing and evolving, and is represented by the shedding of their skin, because snakes need new skin for bigger bodies. The polar opposite of your example.
I have a surprise for
Why
you
would snakes
underwater.
need to fit? Why wouldn't a snake's skin fit its new body? It's their body. Their body created it.
I'm in the
Again,
winner's
it's too
circle.
forced.
Yay!
Take, for example, if I were to use a metaphor, all baby birds leave the nest eventually.
No!
I'm not forcing it for something like all baby birds escape from the nest to leave and get away from the overseer or some bullshit like that.
Kid.
Use nature.
Some of these snakes will morph and follow the shedder's examples, either because they are tricked or they cannot think for themselves.
Funny how you say that, considering that most of your fans are children and easily manipulated, thus they don't see much of a problem with your work. Vintage cassette.
Or they believe what they are doing is right. Sometimes they are simply misguided and can be put back on the correct path. The process is not something that should be copied or followed. It's very important to stay in your own skin and find ways to adapt without creating an entirely new skin. Lots of skin metaphors. Don't take that out of context, kids. The point of the story is you're going to run into fake people regardless of where you are or what you do. They'll always be around lurking, but it's up to you whether or not you choose to be like them or be your own person. These people, they chose that life, either because they know no other or they think it's the only way to obtain what they want. That's not the case at all. It's very possible to get success with your own hard work. For me, practicing drawing every day, learning to paint myself on a broken HP laptop that overheated every 15 minutes.
To prevent overheating, dust off your computer. I just felt like I needed to throw that in there.
You don't have to be fake to win. Keep that in mind.
Alright, in her last video, we covered how she didn't really form an argument and just kept rambling, going on side tangents. And in this one, we discovered how she isn't very good at making metaphors. But that'll conclude it for this part. In the next part, we will be finishing it up with the rest of her content. And that'll be that. I'll be done.